So with the French Open starting in 24 hours, we actually have some players that have pulled out since the last time we did one of these videos, and also since the draws come out. So let's go have a look at who's not going to be playing the French Open coming up in a day. So starting on the women's side, we actually only have 2 withdrawals at the moment, which is great to see, but not great for these players. Of course, Tormo, who's taking a bit of a hiatus from tennis, she might be retiring. She hasn't announced that officially, but she's not playing. And also Belinda Bencic, she pulled out due to an injury. So, bit of a shame there, Bencic. She was supposed to play Raducanu in the first round, one of the best first rounds of the draw, but she'll be ready for the grass hopefully in a couple weeks. Over on the men's side of things, a little bit of a longer list with Berrettini pulling out over the last couple of days. Zong also pulling out. Zhang is also out on the men's side. Goffin has also pulled out, and Nishikori, he was supposed to play Alcaraz in the first round, but unfortunately, he wasn't fit enough to play either. So there's a couple of players there, and popular players as well, that won't be playing this tournament. Having all the players that are on the injury list going into this tournament as well, so, you know, they might pull out before their first matches. Machac, he actually pulled out last week of the second round against Norrie in Geneva, so keep an eye on him over the next couple of days before his first round. He's got a bit of an injury scare. Muchova, another one who has had injuries over the last couple of weeks and pulled out of some big events, so keep an eye on her as well, whether or not she can actually make it to her first round at the French. Kalinsksya, she had a great win over Pegula, but then had to withdraw against Collins in the quarterfinals of Strasbourg last week, so keep an eye on her as well. Has had a lot of injuries over the time. And also Buzkova, she actually played Badosa in the second round of Strasbourg as well, and unfortunately had to retire. Another player that could possibly pull out before the first round, but there's a couple of players there that are on the injury list that are definitely a concern going into the French Open in 24 hours. So there it is. Not a long list, which is great to see, but some very important names. Bencic, Berrettini, Nishikori, players that we all know that can do well at these slams. Let me know in the comments below, who are you going to miss the most out of those withdrawn players? And also, who do you think is going to withdraw out of the list of injured players? You hope that, well, none of them withdraw. Hopefully they all can play. But, you know, usually the last day or so before the French, or even on the days of the French Open starting, you know, day 1 and 2, players pull out last minute. And, you know, some of those players with the injuries might not get to their first round. So we'll see what happens. But there it is. French Open starts in 24 hours. And that is the injury list and the withdrawal list.